Greetings, computer science enthusiasts. Today we're going to be looking at some problems, some different types of problems that just kind of practice what we've already been working on so far. I'm going to split these problems in section 3.8 into two different videos. So this video is going to tackle problems 1, 2, and 3. So problem 1 says to create a variable and name it multiple and set it equal to 2, and then using the console, print out the first 10 even numbers, with 2 being the first even number, and you can't create any other variables. So basically, an even number is a number that's evenly divisible by 2. 2 is the first number that's evenly divisible by 2. Therefore, 2 is the first even number. So I want to print out 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So the first thing I need to do is I need to create a variable. So I'm going to create a variable, and that variable was supposed to be called multiple. And then I was supposed to set it equal to 2. And then I need to print multiple out. All right, so I've created multiple, I've printed multiple out. Let's go ahead and drag my console up so that I'll see this. I'll go ahead and run this. And sure enough, every time I run it, it just prints 2 to the screen. So that's the first part of this. Now, I need to find a way to change multiple by a value of 2 and then print it out again. So now what I want to do is I want to reassign to multiple the value of itself plus 2. So remember, you can go into the math section and get this little plus window. I need to change this variable to multiple because I'm only allowed to use this one variable. And that's going to equal multiple plus 2. I go over here and I've got 2. All right. And so now when I reset and run this program, oh, I forgot to print it out to the console log. So let's go over here and let's drag it down a console log message and type in multiple. All right, and then I'm going to reset and I'm going to run, and sure enough, it prints out 2, 4. Now, I'm an inherently lazy person because this code right here, multiple equal multiple plus 2, and then a repeat of the printout is going to happen 8 more times. I don't want to drag and type in 8 more times. So here's what I'm going to show you a little trick. If you change from blocks to show text, you can now cut and paste stuff. So I'm going to copy lines 4 and 5, which were those 2 blocks, multiple equal multiple plus 2, and console.log multiple. By the way, I believe this is JavaScript. These blocks actually translate into JavaScript language. And then I'm going to copy that 8 more times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to put a space between problem 1 and problem 2. And while I'm in this text, I'll put a couple of spaces between problem 2 and problem 3. Now, if I go back to blocks, it shows these blocks all together. And if I go ahead and run my program, sure enough, if you go, well, I'll just raise my console log up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. That accomplishes my program. So there you have it. I think what I'm going to do is prior to each problem, I'm going to put just a console log. I'll try to put a console log. I'm going to put a console log that's just the empty quotes. So now when I run this program and start program 2, there'll be a space between program 1 and program 2. Or maybe I should just go ahead and title that. Let's do that. Let's title this program 2 or problem 2, not program, problem. And then let's go ahead and put at the top here, problem 1. So right even before I do the problem solution, I'm going to declare that that's what's happening. And I think I still want the space. I think I want the space in between that. So to do a space, we just do the empty string. So let's see what happens when I get this. So sure enough, I've got problem one. Ooh, it shows the 2 quotes. I don't like that. See if I can get rid of those 2 quotes. It looks like you left parameters empty. So it's not going to let me do a space. I'll just pull that out. All right, so there you have it. Problem number 2. Problem number 2 says that we're going to create a dice rolling game that uses 3 dice that each have 6 sides. So kind of like we did in the dice generator earlier. The result of the dice roll should be the sum of the first 2 dice with the value of the 3rd dice taken away. So I want to basically create 3 variables, die 1, die 2, and die 3, that all generate a random number between 1 and 6. And then I want my result to be die 1 plus die 2, then subtract off die 3. And then I want to be able to print just that result. All right, so I think what I'll do is I will start out by creating my variables. So my variables will be die 1, probably should start out with a lowercase, die 1, die 2, and die 3. So there's die 1, here's die 2, and here's die 3. And then I want a result. All right, so die 1 needs to be a random number between 1 and 6. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to find that random number, and I'm going to do random number between 1 and 6. Now, once again, I need to repeat this code over and over again in these other 2 sections. So I think I'm going to switch over to text, and I'm just going to copy and paste this. And everywhere I see a line, I'm just going to overwrite the line. And then when I go back to showing the blocks, you will see that I have random number 1 to 6 assigned to these 3 different variables. Now the result is going to be this plus this minus this. Well, I don't have a plus plus minus, but what I do have is a plus, and then inside I can say this plus this, and then over here I can put the minus. Now you got to be very careful about this because you can see it breaks the order of operation. So technically, maybe I want to use the minus first. It's not going to matter because subtraction and addition have the same order of priority. But maybe I want to use the minus and put the plus plus first, and so that'll do it in order from left to right. It will work either way based on the way order of operations work, but if one of these was a division or something like that, it would mess it up depending on which blocks you use. The point here is that I can use, these mathematical blocks really only allow for two elements to be put in each side. But if I start stringing them together, just so long as I'm really careful with my order of operations, then I can do as many additions and subtractions as I want, all on the same line. All right, so what was getting added together? Die 1 was getting added to die 2, which was being subtracted from die 3. All right, so that's my result, and now I am going to go in and I'm going to do console log, and I'm going to type in just the result. I think that's all I need to satisfy the problem. And so now I'll just go ahead and run it. And in problem number 1, I get 1, but then I get 4, but then I get 3. So here's the problem. How do I know my program's working as intended? Because I don't really know what the 3 numbers are that are being printed out. So I could probably do a console log and do a printout of everything. I think that might be a good idea. So I think what I'll do is I'll show you how to do that. We'll just string a bunch of stuff together. So you're going to get to see a lot of these addition things strung together. So I'm going to put a plus in there. I'm going to put a plus in here. I'm going to put a plus in here. I'm going to put a plus in here. All right, so I want to print out die 1, and I want to add that to a dash and a space. And then I want to print out die 2, and I want to add that to a dash and a space dash space. And then I want to print out die 3. So that, I'm going to throw this away after I test it, but this is my testing block. And it's always good to test your programs and create test cases that you know are reliable. So this wasn't required output, but this is very good to have right now because I can see 1, 4, and 5. 1 plus 4 is 5, and then 5 minus 5 is 2. You know what? I think I'm going to go back in here, and I'm just going to change that to a space plus space because now it'll be a little bit more intuitive. So this output right here should equal that number. So let's reset and run. 2 plus 4 minus 5 is 1. 4 plus 2 minus 1 is 5. 1 plus 5 minus 1 is 5. 6 plus 4 minus 1 is 9. So now I know it's working as intended, and I can just throw this away. So there you have problem number 2. All right, problem number 3. Let's go ahead and grab a console log and label it. So I'm going to just throw problem number 3 out here. That's not a P. Problem 3. All right, so problem 3 says, create a variable and name it sentence. Then create 2 new variables, noun and verb. Using only one line of code, change the state of sentence to an entire sentence with punctuation that uses the other 2 variables. The sentence should then be printed to the console. All right, so basically, I've got to have 3 variables. I've got to have noun, verb, and sentence. So let me scroll down here, noun, verb, and sentence. All right, so noun, verb, and sentence. All right, so noun and verb are going to be just 2 different words. So let's say for my example, I use noun as table. And notice I'm putting it in quotes because I want to assign the word table to noun, not another variable to noun. By the way, you can assign variables to variables. And then I want to say sat is my verb. All right, so now I can create a sentence. Now I'm going to have to start adding some stuff together here. So let's say the cat, and I want to put a space after cat, and then I want to do whatever the verb is. So we'll put in verb here. And then that's a problem because now I don't have any way to type in anything. So actually what I need to do is I need to put another add in there and put verb here, and then put that. And then I'm going to put another add situation in here because I'm going to need to add something after this. So the string, I'm going to start out with a space on B and another space. And then I'm going to put in another add right here. And then I'm going to put in noun. And then I'm going to put in my closing punctuation. Be a period. So that's a punctuated sentence. It's going to be the cat blank on the blank, period. And what's going to be filled in is sat and table. And so now I've got variable assigned. If I want to see what variable is, I need to display that sentence to the console. So fortunately, that's really easy. I can just do console.log, and then I can type in the variable sentence. All right, let's go ahead and run this. And sure enough, the cat sat on the table. And if I go in here and say different stuff like chair and frog, I'm sorry, yeah, chair is the noun. And what's an action thing? Jumped. Now if I hit reset and run, the cat jumped on the chair. So there you have it. Problems number 1, 2, and 3 are successfully done. We've got some more problems coming up later. So until the next time, keep on computing and keep on creating.